step 2 of how to stay sober. And this episode's all about transforming our lifestyle. See, the reality is, even if you detox and do rehab, the risks of relapsing are hugely increased if, after all that, you return to your old routine, to the people you're using with, and the places of your addiction. So, following on from step 1, where we learn to harness the power of expectation by deliberately visualizing both the pain of your addictive behaviour along with the pleasure of a new healthy way of living, it makes sense now to continue with the next step on the journey, which is to intentionally determine what really interests us. What did we actually enjoy doing before this behaviour took over our lives? What emotional needs are missing that cause us to resort to this artificial means of so-called pleasure? Then we can begin putting in place a plan to permanently make the necessary changes to our lifestyle. If you are like most people with an addiction, you likely have found that your circle of friends has been reduced to mainly people just like you who share the same addiction. So in order to break away and avoid relapse, this will have to change, at least in the short term. So the first change would be to get back out into the wider world, make social contact again, find new activities, join clubs or groups, or rejoin previous communities you were involved in and enjoyed. Volunteer if you have found that giving back and being involved in your community are among the emotional needs that you realised were missing. By the way, for any of you that are new to my ramblings on emotional health, I am happy to share an emotional needs audit, which will help you to determine just what needs are missing in your life so you know where to focus your attention. So then they can prioritize just what to do and where to start planning this new life without that crutch. Depending on the results from this audit, after social contact, you would then look at other areas that may need improvement. That could be, dependent on the results, that could be dealing with insecurity, for example, in your relationship, your home, or your employment. Perhaps it's a lack of intimacy, a feeling of not being appreciated, maybe. Lacking a sense of achievement, which in turn leads to low self-esteem. Maybe it's a lack of purpose. In transforming our lifestyle away from addiction, habit, dependence, coping mechanism, or whatever you want to call your current way of surviving, you need to take an honest look at all these areas of your life. Analyse what is missing, what is important to you, and then devise a plan to make the changes needed. This is how you make the choice to leave addiction behind, a permanent one. Because once you manage to make those changes, the need for an artificial means of pleasure becomes obsolete. Of course, it's one thing knowing all this, but implementing it is a whole other ballgame. And that's why I created the Inner Focus to Recover program. But what can you do if you haven't yet joined? Well, firstly, you need to practice the power of expectation, which I explained in the last video, alongside doing an audit of your emotional needs. In order to do these successfully, though, you will likely need to learn how to relax. As what I have found with most people relying on an external substance or activity is that they are highly strung, anxious, and emotionally aroused. So you will need to learn how to relax and calm the mind so that the rational part of your brain can help you make smarter decisions. You can do this with breathing techniques, meditation, mindfulness, hypnosis, and exercise such as yoga. In my program, you will have access to my personalized therapy sessions, of course, But you can also listen to my self-hypnosis Regain Calm audio designed to do just that. But there are many free tools available to you online also. So, once calm and audit in hand, it's time to make decisions, prioritize, and commit to taking action. 1. Practice the power of expectation, visualization regularly, and like I explained yesterday. So if you're tempted, make sure to clearly visualize the pain that you're going to put yourself through, and then instead focus on the positives, the pleasure to be gained by staying sober. Take positive steps towards getting your needs met, and importantly, 3, avoid any situations or triggers that may tempt you to relapse while you are working towards this new, better version of you, the you that you were always meant to be, in fact. In the next video, we will work on that step 3, anticipating triggers. So until then, cheers and have a good one.